Nigeria has compiled and officially gazetted the country's set of ECOWAS trade tariff for schedule and submit same document to the Secretariat of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area based in Accra, Ghana. Now, the announcement came late on Monday via the office of the Nigeria's Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, who is presently in Kinshasa, DR Congo, for the AfCFTA Council of Ministers meeting. The Honorable Minister, Dr. Oduwole, joins me live now on the Arise Exchange for an exclusive interview to this latest development. Congratulations, Madam Minister, and a good evening to you.
Good evening, Wilson. It's a pleasure to be here.
We understand it's been a very busy week so far for you there in DRC, so we appreciate you making the time tonight for this interview on the Arise News channel. Talk to me about the process that went into that, putting the ECOWAS trade schedule together by the Nigerian government and the agencies involved in it.
Well, Wilson, as you know, Nigeria signed the agreement in 2021, and we started trading under AfCFTA last year. So the process to gazetting was a long, rigorous one. The Nigerian Customs Service, working with the AfCFTA National Action Council Office, and working with particularly the Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance wrote to Mr. President because they're in charge of tariff schedules for the gazetting of this. So we got the approval along with Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, and then it went on to Ministry of Justice, and where we were collaborating with colleagues from Ministry of Justice to get it gazetted. It's hundreds of pages long. It's our tariff schedules as approved for Nigeria, and it's really an important step for the Nigerian economy to have this transmitted to the AfCFTA Secretariat. It was extremely well received over here at the meeting.
How significant, Madam Minister, how significant is the gazetting of these trade tariffs by Nigeria and its submission to the AfCFTA Secretariat?
It essentially signals Nigeria is serious about the agreement, serious about trading. We have been for quite a while with our priority of export in particular under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We've been focusing a lot on the AfCFTA. This is why we didn't need to react and be in a rush. We're able to respond because this is the strategy that we've been adopting for the last 22 months. Now, going with the AfCFTA and transmitting the gazetted tariff schedules means that Nigerian export will receive more favorable terms across the continent. And then other businesses can also import their goods into the Nigerian market. Now, You will see statistics were released earlier that Nigeria's exports to Africa trumped all the rest of our exports altogether, our non-oil exports. It grew by 24% year on year. Those stats were released by the central bank recently. And so that tells us that there's a lot of opportunity for our MSMEs to trade across the continent. Today, Bolson, I really want to break it down into what it means for the average business in Nigeria so they can understand really why this gazetting is a big deal.
Please go ahead, Madam Honorable Minister, because I understand that by this year, Nigeria, under this schedule, according to a press statement issued from your office yesterday, we will be offering some tariff concessions, as it were, on some of the trade that we're doing. And we're also at liberty as a country to offer some exemptions whatsoever. So try to break it down, as it were, Madam, because this is actually the heart of this conversation with you. Thank you.
So trade in goods and trade in services are two areas that we're particularly pushing under the AfCFTA in terms of exports. For trade in goods, we actually have a market intelligence tool that will be released very shortly to show where Nigerian businesses' goods are in most demand in Southern and Eastern Africa. And then we're supporting our MSMEs to be able to get their goods. What does it take in terms of services, in terms of regulations, whether it's NAFDAC at this end and the equivalent at the importing country's end? All the regulatory processes, we're supporting businesses to know what they need to do there and where their goods are most needed, and also supporting trade missions to those countries. The Nigerian Customs Controller General is also hosting all the customs heads across Africa in Abuja this quarter to talk about how goods can go simply. Right from Addis, we've also been talking about how agricultural produce can move more freely across the continent. For instance, Ethiopia had a surplus of wheat last year, while everybody was looking and panicking about the supply of wheat from Russia and Ukraine. So how can Africa trade more with each other? We're currently at 18%, and we're supposed to go up to 50% by 2030. But we agreed now at this meeting that is really too late. That was Nigeria's intervention at the meeting. That with all the headwinds that I know you will ask about, now is the time to encourage our businesses, our MSMEs, our female-led businesses, our youth-led businesses. This is the unique thing about the African Continental Free Trade Area. It actually speaks to smaller businesses' opportunity to leverage not just the big businesses. Now, when I come to trade and services, Nigeria has also been doing very well. Financial services, our banks around the continent. Our fintechs are also around the continent, and not just financial services. Technology, digital trade, and technology in particular is enabling several of our businesses, edutech, agritech, to move across the continent. So trade and services is also another area, and helping with the regulatory environment. We just released a survey yesterday mapping out where we want to know where our technology firms are trading or where they want to trade across Africa. That can be found on the FMITI website.
Very interesting, and I'm sure it's been a very a busy time for you and your office, and of course other agencies within the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. So what is important is to what are called the next steps now for Nigeria, since we submitted this to the AfCFTA Secretariat. What is the reception that Nigeria did get, of course, considering the size of Nigeria's economy and the market, not just in West Africa, but the entire African region? I'm sure you must have been getting some feedback on that. Madam
Yes,
Minister?
very positive, very positive. It was very well celebrated. This signals Nigeria's real commitment to trading with AfCFTA, and Nigerian businesses have been ready, and this makes them get more favorable terms. We also see the opportunity. Nigerian quality products are really in demand around the continent, and this regulatory and legislative and legal environment encourages those businesses to be able to confidently go out of the shores of Nigeria and trade effectively and earn that much needed foreign exchange that we need. So a business in Nigeria can export to Southern, Eastern, Northern Africa, within West Africa. Of course, that's a given. Central Africa, I mean DRC. And their products, they can earn hard currency from that enterprise. So it helps with job creation. It helps with scaling and expansion of our businesses. It helps with market access, market share. And we also want to know where they're interested in trading, but we've done some research on our own, and we want to tell them where their goods are most in demand so that it's not trial and error. We have to have the digital tools that help them with matchmaking. That speaks obviously to our role as digital trade co-champions. So there's a lot going on right now.
Very, very interesting. So it's good to get some insight, Honorable Minister, into the AfCFTA Council of Ministers meeting, which you're attending there in Kinshasa. What's the meeting about, and again, what's on the agenda from the AfCFTA Secretariat as far as this Kinshasa meeting is concerned for all of you ministers that has something to do with intra-Africa trade across the 54 countries on the continent?
Yes, so it's a meeting exclusively designated for ministers of trade across Africa, as you just said. And so I was privileged to make a submission on behalf of the digital trade co-champions. That's Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya. And I spoke to all the initiatives that we'll be working on with the AfCFTA Secretariat in this area. We're going to be working on digital identity. We're going to be working on accessing investment into digital public infrastructure across the continent. So this is a continental-wide project that Nigeria will be leading to support Africa in moving. You will recall that I mentioned this right from January, speaking to the rest of the world, that Nigeria is already ready with our digital trade infrastructure. We're the first in the world to have this framework ready, the protocols, the annexes. And so today I made that presentation, quite an elaborate one, which will be followed by a digital trade summit in Lusaka next month. Now, another thing that we talked about is obviously the US tariffs and how that affects African countries. It affects us in different ways. We see Lesotho, for instance, having about 50% tariffs. We see Nigeria at 14%. South Africa also made an intervention. Again, I made an intervention on behalf of Nigeria and where I see Africa should be going at this time. We've agreed to have a unified position. It may not be a common position because countries are at different levels. For instance, Nigeria, most of our exports to the US is oil, and it's under AGOA for now. And we don't yet have certainty and clarity moving forward on that. And we have discussions that we're going to be having in that regard. But having said that, we identified and focused, and Nigeria led on this conversation, that it's imperative that we all look inwards into Africa. And I made the point that 2030 is too late for 50% intra-African trade penetration. We need to make sure that we're trading with each other. And Nigeria, with our record levels of exports across the continent, is ready to lead on that charge. So our job, our mandate with the new Central Coordinating Committee is to make sure that all the agencies involved with AfCFTA in the country are working in tandem to support our exporters in particular as they take on new markets.
Madam Honorable Minister, it's been a very long day for you in Kinshasa. Just stand by. Just remember that when you're back from Kinshasa, we'd like to have a post-Kinshasa meeting, AfCFTA meeting briefing with you. That's not debriefing, but just a briefing with you. Thank you so much. Congratulations. And we wish you all the best for what Nigeria has achieved under the AfCFTA. Thank you, and we wish you all the best moving forward. A pleasant evening there. Dr. Oduwole, Nigeria's Minister in charge of Industry, Trade and Investment.